12 years into its second century, the City and Guilds College has experienced many changes and is facing many challenges. However, the City and Guilds is still at the moment the largest of the 4 constituent colleges that now make up Imperial. But major changes are underway. Nevertheless, many aspects of college life remain fundamentally the same. The college and the union still welcome the incoming students, while those already here still prepare each year to attract new members to the various student clubs and societies during the Freshers' Fair. Former students would see few changes in the style of academic life, even though all City and Guilds departments now concentrate on 4-year courses leading to the Master of Engineering degree, rather than on courses for a BSc in engineering. But steadily improving facilities even on campus make recreation an attractive balance to the increasing demands of academic study. And just in case, the college has a fine new health centre. First year at the college begins, as always, with new students of the C&G meeting together for the first time to be greeted by the Rector of Imperial College and the Dean of the City and Guilds College, and later by the President and Chief Officers of the City and Guilds College Union. While this meeting used to be held in the Great Hall, now, because of the increased numbers of freshers in the 3 non-medical constituent colleges, some induction meetings are held nearby. This year, the Guilds met in the Hall of the Royal Geographical Society, where many important discoveries by famous explorers were announced in the past. The next step into the academic year is Freshers' Fair, held mainly in the grounds surrounding the Queen's Tower. Clubs and societies from the 3 campus colleges show off their activities and plans and sign up new members, of course again in the presence of Spanner and Bolt. The Gliding Club is showing off its glider, and the Rowing Club is there in strength, underlying the many recent successes of college rowing in international competitions. And even more fashionable facilities, windsurfing for instance. And naturally, the Rugby Club is there. Boanerges stands in pride of place and in fine form, being prepared by the Motor Club for one of its main challenges of the year, the London to Brighton Veteran Car Rally. A piece of 1968 archive film shows Bow as the centrepiece of a union ritual setting off from Hyde Park in November, arriving in Brighton and being celebrated at the luncheon by the long-time president of the Motor Club, Sir Hugh Ford. Back at the campus at the start of 1998, accommodation is still a major problem for students. The main concentration of residences on the college site is in Prince's Gardens, the square behind Exhibition Road, but this is unavoidably limited by space. Another substantial college residence is on the Claypons residential estate in Ealing. This offers rooms for some 350 students, but distance from the South Kensington campus means that students have limited opportunities to join in collegiate activities. While first-year undergraduates are offered a place in hall, most students in later years find accommodation outside the college. Private accommodation for students near the college is expensive. In order to help with these costs, the City and Guilds College Association has started an accommodation bursary scheme. Each undergraduate department in the Guilds now benefits from awards to a small number of students made to help meet the cost of renting, and this scheme will be extended as funds become available. The aim is to help maintain non-academic collegiate life, and the Old Centralians Trust Fund welcomes financial support that will help extend this scheme. Recreational facilities on the campus have steadily improved over the years. The sports centre on the north side of Prince's Gardens contains not only the 25-metre swimming pool, but a weight training area, rifle range, squash courts, and workout studio. Off campus, the college boathouse beside the river at Putney is a key facility. Recreation is still not the only purpose of years spent at the college. The ultimate goal is graduation. Graduates of the City and Guilds College receive the ACGI, and the award is still unique to them. The links to our founding institution, the City and Guilds of London Institute, remain solid. The institute itself is firmly established as a major force in training for all walks of life, setting standards both in Great Britain and in many countries abroad. When it was set up by Royal Charter in about 1880, The Institute's very first task was to establish the first university-level institution for engineering in the United Kingdom. The Central Technical Institution accepted its first 6 students in 1885. Each year, a luncheon for the Fellows of the City and Guilds Institute is held at the Imperial College in the presence of the Rector and the Director General of the Institute. Many distinguished engineers can be seen together on that occasion, including the chairman of the fellowship, Dr. R.C.G. Williams. Demands on the college always seem to grow, and around the campus at South Kensington, evidence isn't hard to find of the need for expansion to meet new demands, not to mention new government policies. In the meantime, the first stages in renewing and upgrading the college's academic buildings after the rebuilding of the 1950s and 60s are now taking place. Lecture theatres are being renovated at long last in many parts of the college. But many more major projects are also underway. The joint Science Museum Imperial College libraries are being improved. New spaces for musical activities are being created. However, the biggest project of all is a new preclinical sciences building for the impending Imperial College School of Medicine. Over the months, this project has been transformed from a bare site. The new IC School of Medicine will come fully into being when its preclinical teaching starts on the South Kensington campus. In fact, technology for health applications is well established in guilds. Public health engineering is a traditional concern of the Department of Civil Engineering, while important pioneering work on robotic surgery has emerged from mechanical engineering. Research on blood flow and on respiratory airflow, and on visualization technology in the Bagrit Centre for Biological and Medical Systems is contributed by a collaboration between the Guild's Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, Chemical Engineering and Aeronautics. The college has already used CAD techniques for studying the mechanics of limbs and joints in 3 dimensions, has been in the forefront of robotic surgery, and is now pioneering the use of virtual reality in planning surgical procedures and meeting other clinical needs. On an even larger canvas, new techniques for assessing the health of communities and planning how best to tackle the emerging problems of global health are now being developed by the World Health Organization in collaboration with research staff in the guilds. The problem is how to handle and interpret the vast amount of data, often incomplete and sometimes unreliable, to identify where the best opportunities exist for using meagre resources to meet challenges to world health. Expert knowledge and understanding are needed, but the problem is how to utilize the wealth of expert insight in objective ways. The college's research expertise in computational logic is the key to this work. Knowledge maps that integrate data and expert knowledge to specify indicators of national or regional health can now be designed. It's even possible to produce indicators based on computational logic and on signal analysis that allow health planners to take account of the multiple dimensions of health. An interesting development is the growth of a number of collaborative research centres established to focus on very specific issues, mainly by research, but also through teaching. Many of the centres involve the guilds. These have now led to a new type of research centre. The aim is to carry out research of strategic and tactical importance for industry and to transfer the technology more effectively. These centres will be self-supporting. A good example is the Imperial College Centre for Planning and Resource Control, which is staffed partly from the college and partly by a number of senior engineers seconded from UK and European industry, and based in the William Penny building. It brings together mathematical techniques, new forms of computational logic, and other aspects of artificial intelligence integrated to help solve business needs. The director of the centre, Professor Barry Richards, describes what the IC Park is all about and explains its research focus.
Its research focus is large-scale combinatorial problems in the area of planning, scheduling, and resource control. Industry has particularly pressing questions in this area, Among them, how does it manage its resources, plan its optimization of these resources, and schedule them with maximum effect? It is a problem which industries, as I mentioned, are seriously confronted with on a daily basis. It is one which addresses very deep research problems in the area of optimization and planning. IC Park is really dedicated towards addressing these problems, both at the basic research level and at the application level. There's a long history in these problems, dates back to applied mathematics many hundreds of years ago. It has moved forward now and is dependent largely on advances in computer science, among them in constraint programming. IC Park has focused its basic research in constraint programming, where it is participating with other centers around the world in developing innovative technology.
This is one example of how the college is increasingly looking outward. Looking inward again, the organizational changes needed to form the School of Medicine and merge it into the existing college structure have been immense. The Dean of the City and Guilds College at the time, Professor Julia Higgins, was much involved in the planning process, and we asked her what she thought about it all. Would the formation of the medical school change the character of the college? Would the arrival of large numbers of preclinical medical students on campus have a big impact? Is this all likely to be a valuable development for the college?
Well, you can imagine that this sort of activity caused the college to take a very deep collective breath before we said yes and started. It's a big change. The college will probably finish up about a third medical activity by the time the expansion is completed. But I think those of us who've been involved and who are involved can already see that the changes are positive and good. If you look around the campus, it is a building site, and it's been even more of a building site. But the new building that is emerging, the new BMS building, is an exciting building. And the other changes, for example, the library extension, in my view at least, and in view of many, have considerably improved the library. Then there's the question of research. Those of us in the engineering departments are already having very interesting contacts from our colleagues in the new additions to the medical school. We're finding interesting areas of research to proceed with, and I think there will be some very exciting synergies there between engineering and basic medical research. What exactly the arrival of all these new medical students on campus is going to mean is too soon to say. In the initial stage, I suspect there will be very little effect on the students in the engineering departments. At the moment, a civil engineering student doesn't have an enormous awareness of electrical or chemical engineering. But of course, there will be effects at the social level. Medical students have, on the whole, very active social lives. They're good at drama, they're good at sport. And I think the interactions will be very positive.
It seems very clear that medical education and medical research will certainly emerge as a winner from these changes. They should have a beneficial and sustained effect on the quality of clinical and health care in the community. They should also set standards in medical education, provided that the traditional strengths of the college are not dissipated. These, at least, will not be compromised. The fundamental excellence will remain. The central task of the college will still be to train students for a career in engineering, and the network of its former students will continue to be a powerful support to every following generation of their successors. As to what the City and Guilds College will look like in 2025, I wonder if those who know the college now will recognize it then.